Welcome to Snack Sized Business, where every week I get to share a conversation with an amazing woman who is an entrepreneur, a business owner, or is driving industry in a really positive and impactful way. So today on the Zoom, I get to introduce you to my friend, Stacey Crew. Stacey is an author, she's an author advocate, she's a publisher, and she founded Stacey Crew Wellness. So there is a lot going on there. So let me give you Stacey's 5 facts. So first of all, she wants us to know that she ran a half marathon once. She says she has a personalized autograph from JOHN Lennon, so we have to find out that story. She says she loves to paint abstract paintings, mostly in black, gray, silver, white, and gold. She says she's not a fan of color. We'll have to see if those are for sale. 4th, she says she's an Anglophile and very confused about what's happening with Harry and Meghan. Aren't we all? And then 5th, she says her brother and she once modeled for the cover of a book when they were kids. She says she's still trying to track down the original painting that was done by a family friend named Peter Karras. So maybe someone knows Peter Karras or knows this painting out there. So there you go. Anyway, join me in welcoming Stacey Crew. Well, hello and welcome to Snack Sized Business, Stacey Crew. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thanks, LB. I'm happy to be here too.
Woohoo! So I was giving our audience your 5 facts, and the fact that you paint abstracts. Is the painting in the shop one of yours?
That's
well done. Well done. There you go. So I promised the audience that I would ask: Are they for sale, or is it just for your own private collection?
I would entertain the idea of selling some
There
paint.
you go. See, maybe a third business line. You never know. All right. So let me jump right into the first of our 3 questions.
Okay.
What conversation do you wish you'd had but did not?
Conversation, and now with myself or other people?
I'm going to allow you to interpret that how you'd like.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take that as a conversation with myself. Because I've thought a lot about this over the years and what I would tell my younger self and how I would do things differently. I always return to the idea of trusting myself. Mm-hmm. I would encourage myself to just, go with your gut, trust yourself, embrace your gifts.
Right.
It's, we evolve over time as a human being, but, there's always that feeling of, gosh, I wish I knew this 30 years ago.
Right. So if I had told myself 30 years ago to embrace who I am, shit would be different, right?
Absolutely. A lot of different choices, different.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So let me ask you about the half marathon once. So you ran once.
So I went through some changes. I was experiencing anxiety and I needed a way to just mitigate that. And I didn't want to, not that there's anything wrong with going the medication route. I totally support that. But I wanted to find a way that I could, just ease some anxiety. So I started running. It was as simple as that. I went to the gym and I said, you know what, I'm going to commit to 30 minutes 4 times a week and get on the treadmill and do that. And that's what I did. And through a series of events and finding a running partner, 13 months later, I ran a half marathon.
There you go. That's amazing. So I'm curious, so was it the actual doing of the thing that you were like, this was great, not doing that again?
I continue to run, but I'm forever looking for new ways and new things to adopt to my mental health toolbox, I guess. And I started transitioning into yoga. So I ran for about 3 years and then I did yoga for about 3 years pretty consistently.
Yoga's certainly easier on your joints.
Exactly. And that was it. I was feeling the impact of my hips, so.
Okay. Second of our 3 questions. What do you love about what you do? So I know you do a lot of different things. So what do you love about what you do? Is there a theme?
Yeah, I would say advocacy. I think that, what I've discovered over the years is that really I'm a true advocate, and that really comes with starting with myself. I had to learn to advocate for myself. And that's something that I actually came about when my kids were in middle school, and I was talking with one of the teachers, and I think I was hovering a little with my child's progress, and the teacher said to me, your kids need to learn to advocate for themselves. And I was in the process of helping them become more independent, but that really stuck with me. So I think, I advocate for my clients. I advocate for just ideas in general.
I love that. And, that fits in with your various businesses, with health and wellness, right?
Yes.
Stacey Crew. And then, so you advocate for health and wellness with your clients and whatever. And then now with the new publishing venture, talk a little bit about that.
So with publishing, that's really, what I started to understand is, the publishing process, there are so many facets to it, and it's such a long game. And I've adopted a lot of knowledge over the years, and I would find that authors would come to me and they would be really confused about the process. And which, it's publishing is an interesting business. So I started advocating for my clients, being sort of a guide along their side and educating them about the process. And so I always look for the best solution for my clients, because it's such depending upon somebody's goals, depends upon which model you want to choose, which publishing model, and which direction you want to go.
I love that. That's terrific. I think you're absolutely right. There's so much information out there for wannabe authors, and it just smacks you in the face repeatedly. So I love that advocacy. That's amazing. All right. So let me go back again really quick to your 5 facts. So I would love to hear about your personalized autograph from John Lennon. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it's one of my as far as physical things go, it's a prized possession. So my dad was born in London, and when my dad was 8, he was an only child. My grandparents came to this country. My grandfather had done a lot of service in World War II, and he worked for the British government in New York. And when John Lennon was born, Yoko and John brought Sean to my grandfather's office to register his birth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So my grandfather was, asked him, could you sign 3 index cards and write it out to my grandchildren? So I should have pulled it out and had it here.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So my grandfather was he was such a kind and what you would think of a British gentleman, right? And I'm 11 and he comes to our house. My sister's 9, my brother's 8, and he's just so excited. He's got these cards and he hands them to us, and and we're all like, "Who's John Lennon?"
Right, exactly.
We knew the Beatles, but
forethought he had, though. What forethought? That's amazing. What a good story. Okay, I'm going to go back to our 3 questions. Here is the last of our 3 questions. What communication advice do you live by?
First word that comes to mind is clear. Clear communication. Just being. There's so much to it, but I think it's so important to be fully transparent, fully descriptive about what's happening. And it might mean that you're using a lot of words in a certain scenario, but I just think it's so important to be clear.
I was just talking to another interviewee, and she said that what she learned from her manager is clear is kind.
Yes, exactly.
I was like, that's amazing.
And I think a lot of people will or can interpret communicating so clearly as almost an offense, right?
Right, yes.
Essentially. But I think it is very kind, because it means that you care too.
Yes, I agree. And I love that idea of when you're honest and empathetic and clear. I think that shows that you have a high regard, not only for yourself, but the person that you're speaking with.
Yes, absolutely.
Love it. Love it. All right. So I'm going to circle back one more time, my friend. So tell me about your modeling job.
Well, this was another thing tied to my British roots. So my grandparents had, when I was a kid, probably around the same time as the John Lennon autograph, we had a family friend, an illustrator named Peter Karras, and he's since passed on, but he was married to a British woman, and somehow my grandparents became very close with them. So Peter would hire or, enlist the help of people he knew, friends, family friends, to model for book covers. So my brother and I were asked to, and my sister, but they chose me because I had the braids and it fit the genre of the book. But we modeled for a book cover called Orphan Jim by Lonnie Coleman. He did that book called Beulah Land, which I guess was pretty popular in the 70s. But yeah, that was it. And I'm still trying to track down the painting today. It was just sold again before I could figure it out.
Man. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing though. What a good story. All right. So before we go, I want to give you the opportunity to tell people where they can reach out to you, how they can connect with you, all of the wonderful things you're working on.
So you can reach me at staceycrew.com. That's my wellness site. hello@staceycrew.com is my email address. And also clearvisionpublishing.com. That's my publishing site. So you can find me at those.
Okay. I wanted to ask you though, Clear Vision Publishing, do you publish a particular kind of book or are you open?
I do publish a particular type of book. I work with nonfiction. I work with thought leaders. So anyone who's doing amazing things in culture changing and talent retention and leadership, essentially. Oh. But I also do work with health and wellness authors. So I'm open to having those.
Good to know. Well, Stacey, thank you so much for your time and your really good stories. I love them. Thank you.
Thank you, LB. It's been a pleasure.